Hey guys, welcome to the Dr. Dex podcast. My name is Jason Russell. I have my producer with me today, DJ Studio Man.
Hello.
You can't see him, but you can hear him. And my special guest this week is Mr. Todd Roe from PWT. Now, you're the smart side of the of Pacific Wood Tech, right?
Yeah, I like to tell people we're the ones that, make sure the China hutch doesn't rattle in the house. We're kind of, if we do our job, no one hears from us.
Yeah.
Yep.
One thing I've noticed is from the few packages we've gotten from you so far that you're very responsive and you supply us with plenty of information, regardless if we need it for the building department or if we need it for our own personal knowledge or whatever. It's very professional. I love the way you lay things out, make them happen.
Yeah. So I came from swinging a hammer side of things before I ever decided to continue the pursuit of my engineering side of my career.
Okay.
And so nothing used to irritate me more than a big old pile of crap sitting on the job site and you going, okay, what's this for? Oh, that's your header. Well, why is it the same length as my 2x4s? What's telling me what's what? And so I kind of brought that when they hired me. I brought that attitude that the first one at the table is the first one to eat. So that's why you get it out fast. You don't waste time. You don't dilly-daggle because, this is your world. If you take a bid to Lumberyard A and Lumberyard B and they have different products or whatever, if Lumberyard A calls you back with a quote, you're done shopping. Yeah. That's the last thing you want to do now. I was like, I got my bid. I'm going to put this number in here. And
am I going to save $10 if I wait for 3 days for the next guy?
So you're not going to call up Todd over at, Lumberyard B and say, hey, I got A's. Where's yours? You're done. And I learned that a long time ago because that was my attitude. I'd take a house plan to, and I used to do my own takeoff. So I made it really easy, I thought. But, I'd take it to a couple different lumber yards and hear back from one guy and I was done. They got the job, because I don't have time for that crap.
Right.
Whatever.
Yep. So why don't you give us what your current role is at Pacific Wood Tech, and then we're going to hit the rewind button a little bit.
Okay. So I am the technical specialist for the engineering department. They brought me on to bridge the link between contractors and engineers and salesmen and engineers to be able to communicate contractor and be able to communicate salesman, but more importantly, be able to communicate engineering to both sides in a way that hasn't really been done before. Everybody wants to, but that's pretty much what they brought me on for. So I'm a technical specialist.
Okay, but what's fascinating to me about your job is that you are introducing a new way for us to create more open spaces below the deck.
Yeah, it's
less posts, less beams, more span, which has we've always been limited on how far we could go unless we go to steel or something super expensive, I-beams and things like that. Within a parameter of wood-based products. So for everybody listening and anybody that is watching this, PWT is called Pacific Wood Tech. They make a treated LVL, which is laminated veneer lumber. That is. Why don't you tell us, Todd, how it's made or what it consists of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, laminated veneer lumber is exactly right. So we own our lamination plants that spin all the laminate, and there's different grades of laminate. There's A, B, C, and D, and even an E, but that's pretty much sawdust and crap. But so we use A and B in our plants, and we sandwich up to 15 pieces together, and that's what makes LVL, and it comes out in this 52-inch sheet, and then we have a gang rip saw that it goes down and cuts your 11 7/8 or your 14 16s or your 7 1/4 or whatever. It's all on what we're producing that day. And I went to the plant still, even though I'm in the engineering department for PWT, going and seeing the process is insane because that line is just flowing.
Yeah.
And you're like, my God.
We've been there as well because
yeah.
one of your plants is in Washington State.
Right. Our corporate office, Burlington.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in Burlington.
Where all the treated's made.
So we took a field trip up there one day to check it out back in 2020.
Yeah. It's insane, isn't it? Just the science behind just making it blows
the amount
away.
of glue. So for people that still haven't grabbed it, the treated part of the LVL, it's not just treated from the outside in. It's actually, this product is treated from the inside out.
Yeah.
So anytime you cut it, the treatment goes throughout the product.
Yep.
They're so confident in it, they're putting a 25-year warranty on the product. It's straighter than traditional lumber. It's stronger than traditional lumber. Anything engineered. That's why we use engineered laminated beams. Yep. And now I'm using PWT beams instead of glue lams because of the weight to strength ratio is actually better, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
Is that true?
Times.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times, anytime you get out into 7 1/4 by 24, I mean, that's just a pig, and you gotta.
That's crane material there.
Yeah. I let the night crew do that.
So where are you located right now, Todd?
So I live in Brady, Nebraska, which is, if you put your finger right on the middle of the state, right in the center, you're probably covering up my town.
Okay.
The biggest town near me is North Platte, Nebraska. I grew up north of here, and I was raised on a ranch and never let out of the barn type deal. And then I grew up thinking Brady was big, only 200 people, and that North Platte, Nebraska is 25,000. That, I mean, it doesn't get bigger than this. I didn't really. I mean, I've got some crazy little town stories I could tell you about not knowing the world was bigger, but yeah, I'm a Nebraska boy. I swore I'd never come back, and went to college, and here I am. So.
Okay, so what was, like, in a small town of 200? Where did you go to school?
So
elementary school.
So they have in small town Nebraska, if you don't live close enough to the elementary area or the high school, because everything's in one school: high school, elementary, kindergarten. They have country schools, and those are K through sixth grade, and then you go there until you reach 7th grade, and then you have to drive in to town. But now they've changed that, and the bus routes come out and get them, and they don't have the country schools anymore.
Oh, okay. So they would just, as a 7th grader, say, "Here, take the tractor," or
Here, take
you're welcome
the old
to
truck, or
drive the old truck.
Yeah,
so,
I had an older brother, so I had to wait till he graduated before I got to drive to school. But yeah.
Oh, dang.
Plus, I mean, by the time I cared, it was his gas money, not mine.
Sure.
And that's what girlfriends are for. So if I needed a chauffeur.
Okay. All right. So like grade school, you were like in the country, just wherever, just something close. And then once you got to 7th grade, you had to travel. How far was your?
About 15 miles in a town.
Okay. Not too bad.
No, there's like Mullen, Nebraska right now runs a bus route. It's 1 hour each way to go pick up kids to bring back to Mullen, Nebraska for school.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
But
okay.
Got to do the book learning.
Yeah. So what were you into in junior high and high school?
So I was kind of I did sports. The small town guys, we could sit and talk all day about our sports accolades and stuff. I was a decent small town athlete, got some awards and stuff. But my biggest thing in school is I didn't really find like partying until I was like almost a senior out of school, because I was a nerd. I was good at sports, but I was a dork. I was. Well,
you were good at I assume you were good academically then.
Yep. I did really well there.
Cool.
And I got scholarships to go to college, and then got a girlfriend, got her pregnant, had a kid, got married, had another kid, and did my first 4 years of college, as a dad. So I didn't really get that whole college life
Mm-hmm.
experience. But um, yeah, high school was a lot of fun. I look back on it, it's just uh, I wasn't exposed to a lot until I got there, and then kind of a hold my beer moment for me after that. And I used to have a horrible temper, and I was kind of known for that. And then I found out it's a lot easier to make friends and make people laugh and joke on yourself, and you know, uh,
Mm-hmm.
started developing my group of friends and figuring things out.
Cool. So
Yeah.
back in high school, like, you're a pretty big guy.
Yep.
How tall are you?
6'4",
And how
three
much did you
six
weigh?
in high school.
Yeah.
About 245 at my senior
Oh,
year.
okay.
Yeah.
So you're pretty lean then. You were
Yeah.
pretty lean
Yeah.
in high
Yeah. I
school.
looked like a shaved bird up until about uh, my junior year. It was
Yeah.
pretty skinny.
Lean and mean, huh?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
240. So you were fairly skinny at
Yep.
240 pounds at
I
6 foot
looked
four.
big. 33 waist. I
Mm,
looked big compared to my buddies, but
wow.
yeah, I was a defensive end type. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
played. That's what and basketball is probably my most successful as far as awards that I got. All state and stuff like that, and scholarship offers was in basketball and some in football too. But I was,
Mm-hmm.
I funny story about me is I played Legion baseball in North Platte, which is like I said, I thought it was the biggest town that existed from the time I was 14 till I graduated at 18. And then I
Okay.
played football, basketball, track, baseball, football, basketball, track. And when I got done my senior year with baseball season, I didn't want a coach talking to me. I didn't want to run a lap. I didn't want to do calisthenics. I was done. And, you know, I'll promise to keep this PG, but I also found girls, and that was
Mm-hmm.
a whole nother set of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good
I
for
was like,
you.
I'm going to do the girl thing. This is way less
Yeah,
work.
it's way better than sports.
Yeah. So,
It's
and
it
you
can be
got to have that
athletic, but
burn. Yeah.
it can be athletic, but it's not like
Yeah. You
four
got to have
quarters
that
of it.
burn. My
Sure.
middle son played college football, and
Mm.
he'll tell you, anybody can play college football. I'm not saying you'll start, but if you want to play the game,
Mm-hmm.
that they want you because, they're starting 11 that do offense. They're starting 11 that do defense, a few substitutions. That isn't enough players to, in tuition money to fund the program. They need 100 players that want to be there and want to practice and pay tuition to. So he's like, if you want to
Mm.
play the game, they'll let you, but you got to love it. And I just didn't have that drive in me.
You
I
got to
love
pay to
playing.
play.
Yeah, I love playing. I thought it was fun, something to do on a Friday night,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't my life. I wasn't
Sure.
one of those kids that said I'm going to be a pro. No,
Okay.
yeah, I wasn't
So,
going to
so
be.
what grades were you pulling in high school? Like you're doing all
Yeah,
sports.
I mean this is really tooting my own horn. I got a B once in fifth grade, uh, but I high school I didn't struggle too much with. College I graduated college with a 3.8, so I got
So
a few
you
B's
were
in
like a
college.
4.0 student in high school,
Yeah,
and you're able
yeah,
to do all the sports, and you're still pulling
yeah,
a 4.0. Wow,
yeah.
impressive.
I
I,
didn't, I look back on it now as just the way it was. We didn't have the gaming computer. I remember when
right.
there's one computer in the house and you got to use it for 15 minutes because you only paid for 2 hours of internet. So I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
an email till I was probably 17 years old. So,
Okay.
but so we didn't have cell phone, only three channels on the TV. And
Yep.
if I wasn't a remote, I wasn't watching it. So, you know, that's just how it
Okay.
was. So I think you and I had a lot more time in our day
Yeah.
when we were in high school than these
So
kids
were
do now.
you like growing up? You said you grew up on a farm. Were you guys hunt? Did you hunt and
Yep.
do that
Oh
kind of
yeah.
thing? So
Yep.
what about talk to me about guns then a little bit,
Yeah.
like.
So just me. I own
Mm-hmm.
like 168 guns.
That
I
all?
think, yeah. Well, yeah. I have friends that have. I have like 7 gun safes. I'm nuts
Okay.
when it comes to them. I have the gun
What
safe I hide from my wife, and then the gun safe I keep in the shop, and then the gun safe I gradually bring it into the house. And yeah, so
Okay. So of all the guns that you have, I mean, obviously you have guns for different purposes, but what are your favorite guns to shoot?
So my favorite gun right now to shoot is my 4570. It's a Marlin 4570. It's one of the most traditional, you know, pioneered the West type rounds. It's a big flat cartridge. It'll knock down a bear. It'll blow a hole through a deer. It's
Is that like a shot? Is that like a shotgun?
No, it's a
No, a
rifle.
rifle?
Yeah,
Rifle?
It's a pig though. I mean, it shoots.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
Like I shot my bear in Minnesota with it. Dropped
How
it like
many?
a sack
How much
of
is
meat.
one round? How much does a round cost for that?
The 4570 about $1.25.
That's not
round.
too bad.
Yeah, I have a.
Do you have any fully automatic guns?
Where's your badge at there, buddy? I mean, I don't think you're supposed to admit
Okay.
that.
Okay. Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay. Put
there
a pin.
could be
Put a pin in it.
potentially.
Hold on. Put a pin in it. We'll talk about it in our bonus episode.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. My stepbrother was licensed through the state of Nevada
Yeah, it's a high end.
for two guns. He had an HK91 and an HK94.
Oh, wow.
And we used to go out into the desert and just light it up. Back when ammo was cheap. This is back in the 90s, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And we'd shoot off like a few hundred rounds in like 2 minutes or 30 seconds, or I mean,
Yeah.
it took longer to load it than it. Yeah, exactly. It's if you didn't, if you weren't holding that thing down. That's why I say Rambo, dude. How can Rambo shoot two machine guns at the same time and they don't go straight up into the air like this?
I have one of my guns that may or may not be fully automatic. I have a deal. Anybody who wants to shoot it can, but if they have to hit a paper plate twice, and I'll give it to them from 25 feet. I was like, I'll give it to you. There's 25 rounds in there. You hit that paper plate twice, I'll give it to you. Oh,
dang!
Hell. And no one ever has. If they hit it once, I'm impressed.
Are they pulsing the trigger, or are they just like laying into it?
They have to hammer it down. I wouldn't. If they were going to do one like tink tink tink, I wouldn't give you a BB gun. But
okay,
if they want to hold the trigger down, I'll say just hold the trigger down, hit that plate twice. I'll give you the gun. And,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're throwing $50 worth of ammo into the gun.
Yeah.
Just to see if they can do it.
So one thing my dad taught me and told me to do from I don't know, maybe 13 years old. You could buy ammo when you were 16 when we were young.
Okay.
And every payday, every paycheck, you buy a box of ammo.
I find it interesting because, everybody's different about that. Some people hunt, they have to have hunting guns, and we missed that last little segment, so maybe you can repeat it, what you were talking about as far as the guns thing goes.
So like here, I have sporting guns, I have hunting guns, I have guns just because they're cool. I have a gun that'll shoot a full beer can 150 yards,
Cool.
And it's an AR format. You stick a blank in there, and you can put a full beer can or pop can in there and hit it, and it'll launch at 150 yards.
Calvin and I made a potato gun once.
Yeah,
that was fun. Yeah. With we use compressed air and sprinkler valves and 9-volt batteries.
You can mix it good.
Man.
I've got little derringers. I've got one it's a belt buckle that has a little derringer in it. So,
cool.
Yeah.
You're a collector.
Yeah, I like them all.
You got any gangster guns?
Oh yeah, I do. I have and I'll tell it because we have something really cool to talk about for the special time. But I have a Israel Arms Uzi imported from overseas.
Cool.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to have a special license for, so I may or may not have it.
You may or may not.
Put it this way, I have a few friends that I trust completely. That something happens to me, I know what they're going to go do. They're going to go clear my internet history, and they're going to go grab that gun.
Yeah, good for you. So what was your first gun as a 13, 14-year-old?
243 single shot. Well, 22, but 243 was my first, Dad gave me, 22 was, we carried around those and shot birds out of the barn and stuff. But
cool.
243 was my first, this is yours, treat it well, and I love that gun. I still to this day love that gun.
Cool. Yep. And awesome, man. So when you have so many different sizes of ammunition that you need, it's hard to keep a stockpile of each. So do you reload at all, or?
I do some, yeah. kind of one of Dwayne's favorite sayings is the squeeze has to be worth the juice, and
Yep.
time value money. I mean, it's fun to reload if you're really into like precision and stuff like that. Reloading can really dial things in. But so I have the equipment. I have a really nice setup and a lot of shotgun stuff we reload. But my like I said, I was 13 when I started buying ammo. I've been trading ammo. I mean, I say at any one time I have over 1,000 rounds for every gun I own.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's good.
or more, or way more. Yeah, I think we counted one time just in 22 long rifles. I think we have over 10,000 rounds just for blinking. Yeah.
Okay, so like let's say you're gonna go shoot some handguns. What's your most? I'm not gonna say your favorite, but like, do you like take 9 mils or?
Yeah. Like I don't know if I can show them, so you can edit it out.
No, we're not allowed to.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
sorry,
I have one right by my desk. It's a 9 mil Shadow Systems. I'm the guy that leaves my doors unlocked and prays somebody comes in here.
Do
got all kinds of fun for them.
Like, do you have some really cool laser scopes and stuff like that as well?
Yep.
What color?
This one is so this one here has a solar top on top of so you never need to put batteries in it, and once it's out you can see it's just inside the lens, so it doesn't project one. I have one that I wear on my ankle if I'm doing that has a laser on the bottom side that comes up, and it's I have one called it's the Taurus Curve. It's designed to fit in your pocket. So there's a little clip that clips on the outside, but then it goes right in your pocket, and it's curved like your hip, and it has a little laser on it. I have, infrared scopes. I have a couple of those. I have 2 thermal scopes yeah. And then and I have a little tripod, and then out my back door, you can kind of see it if I do there. Out my back door, it's just hills. I mean, I have no neighbors back there. It's just sand hills in Nebraska. So I'll set up the tripod, open up the patio door, go throw out the coyote call. We'll shoot coyotes out of my living room.
Oh, wow. Fun.
Yeah. My wife thinks it's awesome.
I'm sure she does. All right. So, okay, we're getting ahead of the game here.
No problem.
So let's go back. So high school, you graduate. With honors probably because you're a pretty smart dude.
Yep, I was actually second in my class. I had a April. There's only 11, so I mean,
but
still. But April was ahead of me, and she was brilliant. Like that kind of Rain Man brilliant. So.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, I mean, you probably if you would have applied yourself more, you probably could have.
Yeah, if I'd have tried a little harder.
Or quit. No. Or stayed out of girls or
she was
sports.
That count the toothpicks smart, man. Like there, I had a ways to go.
Okay, fair enough. So you said in your senior year you started to party a little bit?
Yeah. I kind of cut loose, found the sauce.
Yeah.
Kind of found my rhythm with it, and it was a lot of fun. My first wife, it was all we had to do. We didn't have any responsibilities at the time, and so we found the fun, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Was moonshine a thing around those parts, or
no? I mean, it wasn't. The adults, it was, I think, but we could never get our hands on it. I mean, one time we got a jar of it. We stole it. We crawled in this trailer house and stole all the booze out of it because the guy wasn't home. And he had a jar of what smelled like kerosene, and so we just take mouthfuls of it and blow it on the fire and watch it go.
Cool.
Yeah, my
Gene
buddy
Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, if he hears this, he'll be like, "That's what happened to it." Because
there's all my alcohol. You owe me, Todd.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. So, okay, so you're graduated high school, and then you decide to go to college?
Yeah, so that was always the plan. It didn't work out quite like I hoped. I did 2 years at a local because we got pregnant, and so I did 2 years at a JUCO, junior college, and then decided I had to make money. And college was, so I had kids. I had 2, one more coming, and so I went to work for a ranch north of Llewellyn, Nebraska for Ted Turner on his bison
Oh,
ranch.
okay.
And
Oh, cool.
I worked for 1 year on a bison ranch. It was like 88,000 acres, 3,500 head of bison. There's three of us, and we just took care of that ranch. And
Now, how
then
old are you then?
I'm 45.
No, how old were you?
Oh, I just turned 21 the day I set foot on that ranch.
Yeah.
I just turned and worked for him for 1 year. And a cool story is so that led to me going back to school was so we were out on we called it the Keenan pasture. It was we were planting crested wheat in there so the bison could graze it and stuff. And it was just a big center pivot and had a massive diesel engine and a big old diesel tank. It was a 500-gallon diesel tank, and there
Mm-hmm.
was some diesel in it, and they were trying to figure out how much to order, and they were arguing back and forth. Well, there's got to be this many gallons, and so I took a stick, stuck it in there, found out how tall it was, the circumference, the diameter, the length, figured out how many gallons it could hold, and then figured approximately how many gallons were left, and told them what to order, and Turner came right up to me and says, "What the F are you doing out of school?" And I said, "I can't afford it." Nothing else was said.
Uh-huh.
And I just went back to work, worked my day. Well, from TEI Enterprises, I got a check for $2,500 that said this should cover your deposit and your first month's rent.
Wow.
Which that kind of money covered it for like 6-8 months. But back
Oh,
in our
wow.
day.
So
But,
Ted Turner
yeah.
put you back in school.
Yep.
How cool is that?
He was the reason. Yeah.
So you actually got to meet the guy.
Yeah. I met Ted. I met Bo. I met a few different ladies that came out,
Mm-hmm.
after Ted got divorced. I met some really cool, like biologists. Ted was very into conservation,
Mm-hmm.
and so I got to meet some really cool biologists that worked for him on all his properties. He's like the third largest landowner in the United States. So,
That's
I mean,
insane.
I gotta go to his other ranches in Nebraska and help work animals. And yeah, he provided a truck. He provided really nice homes to his
Hmm.
help. It's just, it's
Well, if you
I
have the
wanted to get back
means,
to
right?
school. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've never seen a hearse pulling a U-Haul, so you might as well take it.
But he didn't want you to he didn't want to keep you.
So he did. There were like the land manager at the time said, we pay people with degrees a little better, and of course, I lived 27 miles north of a town of like 130 people, and it
Mhm.
was like 48 miles to a town of 200 people, and it was like a 3-hour drive to a town big enough to see a Walmart. We lived clear
Mhm.
out in the middle of, just straight north of where the hell are we is where we
Mhm.
were. And so it's kind of hard to raise a family out there, and
Yeah.
I was young and it was a good job. It kind of got me on my feet and got my brain in the right spot. Not that I was really having problems, but I knew I wanted to go back to school. I knew I wanted to pursue construction.
Mhm.
My undergrad degree is in construction management, and I wanted to swing a hammer, and I still love swinging a hammer. And then after a few years, I went back and got my master's in engineering management, which is basically I'd take back to Walmart if they'd let me because it's super expensive, and all I did was read and write a bunch of crap about it. But um, I got that degree to try to up my level. And I wanted to become a PE, but the way to be a PE is you have to work under a licensed PE for so long,
What's a
and that
PE?
a professional engineer,
Okay.
like the guys that can stamp it. And
Oh, sure.
what's really cool now is I work under three. So in 2 to 3 years, I will qualify to sit for my PE.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, so hold my beer when that happens.
Sure.
But no, it's so now that I'm older and 45, not a spring chicken, it's nice to apply my mind rather than you know uh, swinging a hammer every day. Even though I miss it, you kind of get into that. You're your own boss here. I'm working for somebody, so there's
Yep.
a I hold myself to that standard as well.
Okay, so you went to a community college for a couple years, and then you started working for Ted Turner.
Yep.
And then he realized how smart you were and said, "Hey, we want you to go get your degree."
Yep.
So you left Ted Turner and went back to college?
Yep. I left Ted
Okay.
Turner, moved to Kearney, Nebraska, and went back to college.
Okay, and then did you finish?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So how long did that take?
Bachelor, I mean, in what it took to get it 4 years, but it took me like 5.5 years to get it all done. Because
Were you working during that time?
Yeah, I worked Builder's Warehouse as a lumberyard in Kearney. And then I did side jobs at night. So I would do drywall. A guy, great dude, his name's Lee Garcia. He ran a carpet and drywall business. And,
interesting combo.
Yeah, it was, because he laid carpet during the day and had drywall crews and all this kind of stuff. And he hired me. So when I got off work at 8, he would tell me like where the house was, scraping floors and vacuuming and just cleaning up the guys that mudded all day, or picking up tails they cut off from the carpet, or just cleaning out these. He did big like apartment buildings. And so he'd say, "Hey, unit 15 through 30, our carpet was laid today. We need to go get it cleaned up." And that's what I'd go do. And then I got in with him good enough. He eventually let me start laying, like, "Hey, we didn't get this apartment done. Can you get it done?" And then I would do that at night. And then I learned to drywall with his crew. I was the mud man for it seemed like forever. And then eventually I got to, do a little taping, and then a little finishing, sanding. And then that became, "Hey, I didn't get that kitchen done. Can you go get that mudded up?" We got it taped. And so I'd go do that. And it was a hell of a deal I had going on with him.
How old are you at that point?
23, 24.
Okay.
Yep.
And then how old were you when you graduated the second stint of college?
I was 28.
Okay.
Yep. Because I did that. I went and framed and worked for a framer, and then ended up buying them out. And yep. He offered me a job, and I said, "That sounds awesome." And at the time it was $18 an hour. And, it had been the early 2000s. That was good money. I mean, and then I eventually moved up to like 24, and then saved up, and then he was going to retire. He's a very cool guy. I learned a lot from him, but when I went to work for him, he didn't spend a lot of time on the job site. And he gave me an opportunity to buy him out. And he says, I don't want it to cost you a lot of money, because I don't want to pay taxes on a lot of money. Here's the plan. I had to pay him so much for the business, and then he got to use so many years after that as a tax write-off. So he got no money from profit. He just used the business like when he bought something, or it was a business expense, and it worked out. It had to be legal, I think. I'll be honest
somehow.
with you.
I'm sure it was somehow legal.
Yeah, it could have been shady as hell. I have no idea, but anyway, I got the name into my name, and framed houses, and it was awesome. I loved it. I designed them, I built them, and I
really?
worked with the customer, yeah.
Okay, so how long did you do that for?
All in, 23 to about almost 15 years or more. I'm trying to figure out the math, because I was about 42 when I decided I was done hiring help and keeping help, and I felt like I was managing people more than I was actually building anything.
So were you finishing the house from start to finish?
Yep.
So
usually I
the whole.
I would sub out the concrete work, except for the flat stuff like driveways and stuff. But and then framing, and then I'd usually hire the drywall. You have to hire electricians, plumbers, HVAC guys. Yep. But everything else we did. We even roofed them, because I was young and stupid. Wow. But yeah. You remember what it's like when you don't care if you get on a roof. You're like, "Oh, I'll work."
Yeah, I used to do a lot of roofing for our patio covers and things like that, but I haven't done a whole lot lately.
I haven't been on a roof for many moon.
Yeah. I just sub that out nowadays.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah. Cool. All right. So you spent about 15 years roofing. What did you do with the business when you decided you no longer wanted to do that?
Dissolved it. Just dissolved
it.
So yeah, it's where I was living over by Kearney, it was easy enough to, I could have found somebody, but where I moved to back home, it's just so small. There's enough, you got your magnet contractors, the guys that throw a magnet on their door 5 days a week and pull it off and pull their boat. Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah. But, I just dissolved it. I was tired. I was, I had a job go a little south on me. I didn't obviously go bankrupt with it, but it went a little south as far as the money didn't line up with the end. Good people, still get along with them great, but they happen, mistake, electrical lines and mains get cut. You got to pay an electrician to come fix it. And, things happen. And, but I was just tired of the hassle. You'd call a concrete day to pour a driveway and somebody'd have their sister's dog's baptism to go to. And you'd be like, dude, you knew it was concrete day yesterday. So I just got tired of the hassle. And, anybody good felt like I was training my competition. Anybody not worth a shit wasn't worth paying. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, and how many houses did you think you built total? In your career?
Yeah, my career, I'd say a little over 100 and some, 110 maybe. Yeah,
that's quite a few homes.
Yeah. We, I mean,
so you're building 15 homes a year.
No. Let me back that out because we were design wise. I probably built I built start to finish 26 homes.
Okay,
but I was involved in tons of them, like
a couple a year. You're doing,
yeah. When you get done with this, will you come frame this roof up? Yeah, we'll come frame it. Where hey, we got everything done, but we got to get the kitchen set. I think that's where my number 100 comes from. But and then additions and I did. Around here, everybody seems to like decks are becoming more of a an accent to the home rather than just something they put on. So it's a lot more specialized now. I'm seeing that even in Nebraska. Usually takes us a couple of years to catch up with that, but decks are becoming an outside living room more than just a place to put the grill.
Absolutely, yeah. I feel that 100%. We build a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah, you do.
But okay, all right. So take us on the next stage of your journey here.
Yeah.
You finish up with the house building, framing, and you decide what?
So I always had a connection with some lumber yards for doing design work and stuff like that. And then I kind of went independent designer, laying out floors, doing takeoffs, that for different companies as kind of a private contractor. Did that for a while. What we'll talk about in the special episode, that took up a pretty good chunk of time where I did that only, and then my design work.
Were you designing houses?
Yeah, whole houses.
Okay.
Yep.
On like a CAD program or something?
Yep. So I still have it. It costs, I think to have a seat at its initially is like $3,800. Then it's like $900 every 2 years or so when they come out with their new edition. If you want to stay current, I keep that always. And then I have the structural stuff, the IS plan that you've seen me use. I can do some pretty fantastic renderings, if on this, it looks like what you see on, HGTV where they walk in and throw all the lamps. I can do all that. I don't tell too many people I can because and I'm not trying to be a chauvinist, and you can bleep this out later if you want, but when a woman knows you can change things on a print very easily, you'll never finish the plan, ever. Try drawing an addition for your wife when she knows you know how to draw houses. I bet I drew that addition back here 50 times before I said, we're not doing it anymore. This is what you're getting, this one or this one. Because I'm digging footings.
I've had a few clients like that, but not that deep. Like maybe 7 or 8 designs in, I'm like, hey, are we there? Final answer?
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
I get it.
You love showing them those really cool pictures of what it's going to look like. They're like, "Ooh, what if that trim was blue?" And I was like, "Yeah,
no,
imagine it blue." I don't know what to tell you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the freelancing.
Yep. Then that's when I went to work for a company called BPI,
Mm-hmm.
Building Products Incorporated. And so you have PWT, who's the manufacturer, you have BPI, who's the distributor, and then you have lumber yards. I went to work for the next level up for
Mm-hmm.
about a year and a half, almost 2 years, and then doing the same thing. Just I was a specialist for them. I did a lot of design work, a lot of walking contractors through stuff, a lot of troubleshooting, a lot of what are we going to do about this type stuff. It was a good job. It was a fun job. Made a lot of friends in the industry, and then that's how PWT, actually Chad Furley, who you know real well,
Mm-hmm.
saw the opportunity to jump and said, "Dude, you need to apply for the engineering job with PWT. They're gonna freak if they get you." And right away, it was just a great connection with them. Um, I was kind of what they were looking for. They wanted experience not only on the job site, but somebody that could, do the engineering stuff as well, analyze beams, analyze what's going on, make suggestions at a high level, but still
So
communicate it. So,
when you're running your structural calculations,
mhm.
so like, hey, we need to know what can we do for this span, for this length, for this size product, for this tributary load. There's a lot that
Yeah,
goes into the
yeah,
math part of figuring that out. You're so efficient at it, which is great. 'Cause I start thinking, well, what happens when we get to the point where there's just too many requests coming in,
yeah.
and Todd can't handle it all, you know?
Well, nice thing is you're in a sweet spot because you're my boy, so I'm not letting that happen to you. The other guys might have to worry about that
Yeah,
crap, but
sorry guys. Yeah, special
yeah,
privilege.
I met him when
I'm
he was
in.
new. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll take
but
it. I'll
I'll
any
never
way I
let
can
you,
get it.
never let Nikki down. So, so, but no, it's that's where this what Dwayne's trying to develop, and I credit him. He's even higher than my boss, Dwayne is, and he has this concept of all of this, it's kind of the we all work together thing, and I've really tied into that with him. I've always thought that there was always this huge disconnect. If you're swinging a hammer, you hated the engineer.
Mm-hmm.
If you were swinging the hammer, the engineer hated you. You know, and it was just this. There was always that fight, and I always thought, there's a way to be better at this. Yeah, I can do the engineering stuff, but when you call me and say, hey, we're going to reuse this beam here, and we want to span from beam to beam, but I'm going to run the joist this way this time, just that I can see it in my eyes that you have that comfort of knowing when you hang up, he truly knows what I'm trying to do. And that changes the dynamic between contractor and engineer, or contractor and company the engineer works for. It
Yep.
develops a brotherhood. You're calling your friend Todd because you have another job, not I'm calling PWT, which you
Right.
are, but you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
That's my goal.
Yeah, well, it's accompanied right now because that's how I feel. Like I'm not calling an engineer at PWT. I'm just calling Todd.
Yeah.
But in the same sentence, I know Todd possesses the knowledge that I need to
Yep.
know, like, is this safe to do this? Like
Yeah.
you and I, we problem solved something the other day because I
Yeah.
happen to have an extra piece of product that happened to be a little bit thicker than the rest.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't supposed to go out on your shipment. But I was like, hey, wait a minute, can't we use this?
Yeah.
Because I understand structure. I just don't, I'm not qualified to calculate the math
Yeah.
on it.
Sure.
And you're like, yeah, let me run the calc on that really quick. And you're like, yeah, that'll work. I'm
That'll
like,
work good.
cool.
Yeah. And that's the kind of teamwork that makes that kind of teamwork that you and I have, it's far and few between, but that's what we want to grow, because what you and I are able to do, just two buddies trying to figure it out. I have what I do, you have what you do, but it's when it's at a friendship level with your partners in business, you feel like, like I've always said, it's beer sales 101. You buy from your buddy. If I sell Busch Light and we're best friends, you're going to drink Busch Light, because I'm your buddy, and hey, my buddy works for them. I'm going to drink. It's the same thing,
Right.
it's a kind of a weird way to look at it, but it's, developing loyalty. People have been doing it in sales their whole life. But
Right.
at our level, there's always been that disconnect between engineering. I mean, you remember the days, because I remember them, when you had to send something off to get it sealed. And
Mm-hmm.
it was just like, oh God, when am I going to see that again? Or you're constantly bugging the
Yeah.
guy at the lumber yard saying, "Do you hear anything? Dude, the inspector's in my, doing jumping jacks up my butt right now."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now you're one phone call for all that, and that's what
Yeah.
we want to develop. I'm calling Todd. He'll take care of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll hear from him
Mm-hmm.
soon.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've been with PWT for how long?
Year and
Oh
a
wait,
half.
okay. So you went from lumberyard to distributor.
Yep.
So when did you go from distributor to PWT?
So I've been here a year and a half. It'll be 2 years in October that they came in and picked me up and
Okay, so you
interviewed.
keep saying this guy Dwayne. Just so
Yeah,
everybody knows, Dwayne. Who's Dwayne to you?
he's the marketing CEO and basically advertising guru for. He's
He's a
just a
straight
VIP. He's
he's
a
a straight
VP.
gangster.
He's a
Yeah,
VP, man.
I like him.
There's like four of them, and he's one of them.
He's just a really cool guy.
Yeah, he's about as legit as they come. His experience is far out. I mean, I think the guy could sell, a popsicle ketchup to a nun in white gloves. I mean, he's just on a hot July day. He's just that type of guy.
Yeah.
He knows so much. He has so much experience. And the beauty about like even him and Chad, if they don't know something, they don't pretend to know something. You know what I mean? They'll
Mm-hmm.
be on. They'll
Mm-hmm.
get the information, but they're
Yep.
not going to blow smoke up here. Say I don't know. Let's
No.
call Todd. Or
Yeah.
let's call Reed or whoever my boss is. Let's get the answer. Not
The
just
thing that is really incredible to me is how well placed all you guys are within this group of people that is making this company. And I'm going to be a part of PWT as well, so I'm really
Yeah.
excited about that. And
We are too,
we've already
man.
had Chad on the podcast. Now we've had you on the podcast. We'll probably get Dwayne on there next. And he said he would, so that's cool. But it's cool to get everybody's 2 cents, input, all that stuff in it. So since you've been here, how much do you think that the company has expanded since you started?
So that's a great question, and to answer it truthfully, just now that I work with Dwayne so much too, I still have my team, but I get to go out and be part of these shows, and
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne pulls me into, like when we were designing some of the first decks to try to get you interested in our company, and
Mm-hmm.
then I get pulled in by Dwayne. But so I get to see growth now more than I ever used to because I'm actually seeing the involvement, the evolution of you and Nikki becoming part of the PWT team, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing that evolution is opened my eyes to what they're trying to do. But
Mm-hmm.
to your point, real quick, my first show, not the first time I met you, but the first time I met any of the big dogs in public, in person, it was IBS.
Yeah, big show.
Everybody met, and everybody was like hugging and dapping each other up, and our CEO, our president, the tip of the spear, they're just like brothering each other up. And I was like, wow. I mean, I've worked for a lot of bosses, and I've had
Mm-hmm.
great relationships with a lot of bosses, but when you have the head of the company giving you a dap up and pulling you in and giving you a
Mm-hmm.
hug, saying appreciate you, it's just a whole nother level. And that's the atmosphere that I'm not even paid to say that. That's
Yeah.
the atmosphere they create, and that's the atmosphere Dwayne creates. You feel like I feel like I'm working for my dad when I'm with Dwayne. I feel like I'm working for an old professor that I respect when I work for my boss. Reed Williams is the head of the engineering department. The man's 5,000 years old, I think, but he knows so much information. All right, he might be 4,800 years old. But anyway, he'd love that if I said that. But he's so full of information, and so willing to share it. He's not one of those old bitter engineers that think I'm gonna keep this information and keep. He wants you to succeed. And it's just a different experience, and I think that oozes out of our skin because when the first time we met, I kept apologizing because me when I'm unhinged or unleashed, I can be quite a bit, And,
Yeah,
you know,
you're
we connected,
hilarious.
we connected on that, you know, just because
Hmm.
you could tell it wasn't fake. You know, it wasn't
Right.
a bunch of, we had a genuine good breakfast and an
Oh
awesome
man.
conversation, had some great laughs, and you didn't feel like, man, I just got ran over here, or I didn't just
Right.
get played. You felt like that was a fun breakfast. I could
Yeah.
see, I could see talking to them again. And that's how we
Yeah.
felt with you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It was wonderful, and to get to meet the core team,
Yeah.
and just to sit there and chat. Like there was really no agenda
No, there wasn't.
except to get to know each other,
Yep.
and that's a really great start to a really awesome partnership.
Yeah. It is.
And then we just build upon it,
Yep.
and by building on it, we're just gonna use the product and
Yeah.
show it out, show it around, show it
You
off,
know,
show
and
people.
we're lucky that we're not just using a great relationship to use a mediocre. You know, we're the only ones that make it. So, you know, you're not
Hmm.
using a mediocre product, but man, I really like these guys, so I'm going to use it. You know,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
it's a high end product that you can be
Hmm.
proud of with as Doctor
Yeah,
Dak,
yeah.
and we, not only we have that great relationship and that we have that fun, and I hope more contractors out there want that, and they'll have to hire other Todds because you know
Yeah.
I work for you now,
Yeah,
so
you'll be
full
you'll
of
be
PWT.
you'll be like eventually you have a team of people underneath
Yeah,
you that you'll just monitor and oversee, cuz
how
you
great would
know
that be? But
yeah, well it will,
yeah.
it's going to happen, it just takes time,
Yeah,
like
and that's all I got, man. I
yeah.
have I have my cows. I have this. I have my other hobby, and I'm busy, so I'm not going to change what I'm doing.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
So you have some cattle?
yeah. So me and two of my other buddies, good close friends around here, um, we bought cattle together. We started out with just maybe six, and then from there we kind of grew it. And then Jason, one of the buddies I have, his uncle passed away and had a pretty decent sized herd, and we moved into that and leasing that
Mhm.
property and working together. And so what's nice is there's three of us. We all have what we call our real jobs, and
Mhm.
then we have the cows. And so
Okay.
when I have to leave to go to Providence or IBS or Vegas for the next show, then I know I'm covered. And when they have to do something, it's the same thing. You know, I
Are you
like to tinker with it, so I always go out there, but those
okay?
guys are good.
So
Yeah.
like what do you like, breed these things
Yep.
and like grow them to epic
Yep.
proportions, then you slaughter them for the meat, or what?
So we run a cow calf, primarily a cow calf operation where we breed them. They have the calf, and then when the calf is weaned, we sell the calves as young
Oh,
babies.
okay.
We do hold a few back that we want to raise for beef for ourselves, and then
Okay.
we do our own butchering in where I'm
Dude,
from.
I maybe don't want to see the butchering, but I want to taste the meat, because
Yeah,
is
it's
this all
unreal.
grass fed?
Yeah, grass
Oh,
fed.
I heard grass
We
fed.
do finish. We do finish with you know, a little corn because it turns the fat white versus yellow. When
Mm-hmm.
you're a purely grass fed animal on sweet, you know, prairie grass,
Mm-hmm.
it's the best way to fatten up a critter. But you bring
Mm-hmm.
them in for 30 days, and
Mm-hmm.
you can find them lots of water, lots of hay, or whatever they want. But twice a day, you give them 3 pounds per animal in the pen, and twice a day, and it just sweetens it up a little bit and turns that
Mm.
marbling white instead of yellow, and it's awesome.
Now we had a really fine meal together not too
Yeah,
long ago,
we did.
but what's your favorite cut?
My favorite cut is it would have to be a sirloin. You know,
Really?
yeah. Dude, I'll be honest with you. You can give me a flank steak and I'll be happy. I just, you know, low and slow, and
As
but
long
New
as it's
York,
cut right,
yeah,
you know?
cut right, and cooked right. They're good.
Yeah,
Like
flank
I
is
had
hard to
that.
beat when
Yeah.
you season it right and you
Oh
cut it,
man,
and you
it
know how to
just
cut against the grain, and you make
yeah.
those thin strips, bro.
Yeah, and
Mmm.
it holds the seasoning way better. And
Yeah, it
yeah,
really does.
I like a flank steak, but sirloins are good. You know, prime rib is kind of around here is more of a. It's expensive, but it's kind of that's the last thing you eat. Prime rib's really not that great of a cut. You know,
Hmm.
it's big and it's easy to cook for large amounts of people and stuff. Um, yeah, you know,
I
I
dig
do
the New
like.
York.
Did you? Do you like?
I
I
like the New York
I
strip, man.
I had the I think I had the sirloin, didn't I? But uh, it was probably one of the better
Well,
chunks of meat that I had.
did you have the porterhouse?
Oh, I did have that big. Yeah, I had the
Yeah.
porterhouse.
So you getting the filet and the New
Yeah,
York
yeah,
all in one
yeah,
joint.
yeah.
I
Phaser.
love those too. Like,
So
but yeah.
I
Go
have
ahead.
this. I have because I'm a big guy. 350 pounds of dead sexy. I don't care who you are. But you know, uh, when I was growing up, fillets were a great cut. They taste
Mm-hmm.
awesome, but it
Mm-hmm.
looked like a
Yeah, they're
small dog
tiny.
turd. So I was like, no, give me the big one.
Mm-hmm.
I want
Yeah.
the leg
Yeah.
shank over there. So that's when I grew up with an older brother.
Mm-hmm.
He could devour anything. So like I grew up liking like the wings and the neck of the bird and
Oh,
the
geez.
giblets and the just because I'd get them and no one would fight me for them. I didn't have
Oh,
to.
okay.
So I like some weird crap.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes the tomahawks are great too, but
If they're cooked
it's
right.
almost too much.
Yeah.
You go out to these these extravagant meals with some of these clients, and it's like, oh man, I'm having steak 3 nights in a row, and like my body's like, dude, I used to when I was 30,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
have steak every night of the week, but now
Yeah.
in my mid 50s,
Yeah. And
not so much.
and I know this is probably way too much to talk about, but like steak with me goes one of two ways. It's either I'm bound up or I could crap through a keyhole at 30 paces. There's no in between for
There's
me.
no in
So,
between for you,
so
huh?
I don't know what's going on with my system, but I'm
No,
gonna have to
it's
get
too
that
much
fixed.
protein. You need to put some carbs with it.
Eat salad beside each bite
Yeah,
or something.
something, man. I don't know. So what are your hobbies? Like, what do you like to do in your spare time?
My I'm not really a hobby guy. I'll go hunting if hunting's around. I'll go fishing if the boys want to go fishing. I have three boys.
Mm-hmm.
That my oldest is 30, and then I have a 24-year-old and a 16-year-old, and then my
Oh
daughter.
wow.
My daughter,
Hmm.
she's 22, and I've got
Okay.
two grandbabies. So
Nice.
if I'm not working, and I will admit, I mean, you've seen my prints come through late. I sleep 3 to 4 hours at a time, and then
Uh
I get
huh.
up and work, and I can't
Oh
sleep no more.
wow.
So I mean, I've sent
Wow.
you prints at midnight my time.
Yeah. What's the matter with you, man?
It's just I'm up. I go to bed early, and then I'm up like 10:30, 11. And I'm like, I might as well go do some work. And
What when you
that's
say early? What's go to bed early? What time is that?
8, 9 o'clock,
Okay.
or even
I'm
sooner.
my I got a hard cutoff at 9.
Yeah,
That's usually what during the week I do 9 p.m.
yeah.
Okay, so one other thing. One
Yeah,
other thing though, we talked about it and you gave me a hoodie
yeah,
of it, but you have a distillery as
yeah.
well?
I own a distillery.
How
Yep.
many cattle do you have right now?
Right now running 110,
My
head.
goodness. Okay,
Yeah,
and then you have it. So you just said that's not enough. I need
yeah,
to do something else. No wonder you don't have any hobbies because
yeah,
you have too many guns and you have too many cattle.
yeah.
And so you thought you'd do some whiskey or
Yeah.
what do you distill?
So my dad back in 2015 got handed down these journals from an old uncle that
Mm-hmm.
his name was Carl. And anyways, Uncle Carl Crew gave him these old journals, and they were from his dad. And he spoke German in the house, but his written word was in English. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he used to write some of the coolest stuff. I mean, you should see the letters during the war that he would write to his wife. I mean, he's
Mm-hmm.
my beloved, if I could see thine smile. And you're just like, what in the hell am I reading? But anyway, he ran a dairy back in, 100 years ago or whatever it was. And in
Mm-hmm.
that dairy, he had, how he produced the milk, how he cooled the milk. And then you get to reading, and there's this part that talks about it's Sunday. The sheriff is on the other side of the county. I'm going to move some bottles today. And then he talked about how they're sitting in the worm or in the cooler. Well, the cooler, so the river used to cut through his farmyard. And when
Mm-hmm.
it cut through, it went back up around the bend. Well, he built a cement trough that when it cut around, just a finger of it would go into that trough. And then it would flow down through the milk barn and then go out the other end and back into the river. And that's
Wow.
where he'd set all the milk bottles to cool before he took
Mm-hmm.
them into town. Well, that's where he ran his worm to cool the steam off to recondense the alcohol. And then once or twice a month, he would see where the sheriff was and go deliver his products. And so I thought,
cool.
I told Dad, I was like, how freaking cool is that? You know, I can figure this out. So I went, I don't know, this would have been like late 2014, but I went nuts. I any book that had anything about distilling, I went and visited 2 or 3 of the ethanol plants, because that's essentially what they're doing. They're just making alcohol. But I wanted to know it at like the highest level. Like I wanted to know how you made corn into sugar, how that sugar turned into alcohol, and how I made it into something people could drink. And then the first still I made was a 2-gallon pressure cooker. I welded it shut and tacked on a 2-inch copper column, and I made some of the worst rot gut crap you'd ever drank in your life. And I was so proud of it. And I said, we can do this. And so Dad and I just slowly perfected the recipe and got better. And it started looking like we were having a damn garage sale at his house every weekend. So we thought, man, we better get legal, because making distilled spirits is no different than making meth. So as far as the felony goes, and I like my guns,
as far as the government is concerned, right? Yeah.
So we got legal, and we remodeled an old schoolhouse in Moorfield, Nebraska, and that's how it started.
How much are you producing of that?
It's really slow now. We can talk about reasons later, but
we're about to.
You know, good. But when we first started, it was, we were producing anywhere from 15,000 to 20,000 gallons a year.
Wow.
And, it was insane.
Holy cow. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. We
put a pin in this.
Yep.
We're going to put a pin in this, because if you guys want to hear more about this distillery, you're going to have to go to our Patreon channel and subscribe, because Todd Roe, we are out of time.
Yeah, well, it's been fun.
We are very out of time. Yeah, man. That has been a great podcast. Thank you so much, Todd, from PWT, for sharing your journey with us and talking a little bit about the company. But if you want to hear more, go to Patreon and join up. You can be a member for as little as $5 a month, right? Yep. How many we got now?
15.
What?
Yeah.
We've got like 4. Wow, we have 15 subscribers now, guys.
I'm not just a pretty face, man.
You're beautiful. That's like $75 a month. Anyway, Todd, thank you so much, you guys. Don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, click that subscribe button. And thanks again, Todd, for being here. We appreciate you. Over and out.